Can you use your vacation days to watch our dog while we take a real vacation? So first a little background. This happened about 3 to 4 years after I moved out of my parents' house and have been living independently. Then one day I get this string of texts from my mom. Mom, hey, how have you been doing? What you up to 2 weeks from now? Me, I've been doing alright. I've started lifting weights and exercising more. I don't think I'm doing anything too exciting next week. Why, you ask? Mom, perfect. Me and LT, boyfriend and GT, are going on a trip and need you to house sit and watch the dogs for us. Me, sorry but I can't just leave for a week. Mom, please, the dogs miss you and I'd really hate to put them in the kennel. Me, sorry but I have a job, I can't just go missing for a week. Mom, why can't you drive to work from my house? Me, because it's a 2-5 hours commute each way. Mom, you have vacation days, right? Just use them. Me, no. Mom, please. I'd feel really bad about putting an LT, dog's name and GT, in the kennel. You know how much she hates it. Me, you obviously don't feel that bad about doing it. Then I hear nothing from her until the day before they have their trip. Mom, hey, we're leaving for our trip today and I was wondering when you were going to be here. I want to show you some things before we leave. Me, what part of our last conversation gave you any idea that I agreed to this? Mom, that's very rude of you and no way to speak to your mother. And at that point I just put my phone on silent and stopped talking to her. My landlord doesn't allow pets, so I couldn't keep them for a week. Also the dogs went to the kennel and came out just fine. However, this all happened a while ago and both dogs have passed since then. One to stomach cancer, the other to old age frown ill miss you, and LT, dog's name and GT, and LT, other dog's name and GT. The best part of this story is that you redacted your dog's name, presumably to protect the innocent. Lol. You see, the dog's name is actually and LT, dog's name and GT. What you say? No. What they hear? Yes. Zucchini, she should be an NPC in Fallout 4. Years ago my mom boarded pets, usually dogs and cats, although we got the occasional bird. I forget what we charged. We had one rich retired woman who would board her cat with us, usually for a week or two at a time. She always tried to wheedle the bargain. We would cut breaks for longer periods of time. After a while she tried to demand more and more breaks. Finally she got to the point where she was trying to pay only about 1/5 of what we charged. My mother refused. This bitch went and had the cat put down rather than pay a higher rate. My mother was infuriated but bided her time. I don't remember the exact chronology of events but she called us up again because she had another cat she wanted us to board. I think it was someone else's that she had agreed to watch but for some reason had to go out herself. She actually showed up on our doorstep wanting to board the cat. Mom refused. She got huffy. The cat had pooped its box. She had gotten a bunch of Kleenex and picked up the poop and tried to hand it to my mother. Mind you, the box was on the ground between the two of the women. My mother ground the S into the handle, picked up the box by the sides and handed it back to this cow. The verbal assault from my mother onto this woman was legendary. Again, I don't remember all the words, but Mom brought up the destruction of the previous cat and just let to her. Never did find out what that other woman did. Well, I felt sorry for dogs. She really need get good pet sitter or paid you. She sound like toxic to try guilty trip on you. And, she tried to control you. Really shame on her. You did right for stood up. Yeah, she's done many guilt trips before. I've learned to be very resistant to them. Also, she wonders why I prefer my dad over her. No, I won't move from my reserved seat. Your child is 23 and doesn't need to sit with you. So this isn't going to go down in entitled parents folklore, but it happened to me yesterday and I just needed to share it somewhere. This is a standard Ek and me tale. I was traveling on a train yesterday afternoon back from seeing some friends. I was basically traveling the entire length of the route with a journey around 9 hours going over 450 miles north, so a long time. I had a reserved seat for the whole journey, with the seat next to me switching from being reserved for some of the journey for an hour or two. then being vacant. At around hour 6 of my journey, the train was becoming very busy with families going home from day trips out. The next stop saw the person sitting next to me depart, and a woman who was looking and acting as if the group of scraggy students, like me, and families with little ones were far beneath her got on with a woman who looked my age, who were both looking around for a seat. The older woman, hereafter M, saw the space next to me and made a beeline for it, with the other woman, Ek, in tow. This is the conversation that followed. EM: "Hi, I think you're in my daughter's seat." Me: "Oh, really? I'm pretty sure this is the seat I reserved." Doesn't button-out say so on the display. The train I was on had an automatic display saying whether or not the seat was reserved. My seat said it was reserved from my departure station to my arrival, while the seat next to me said it next became reserved at a station about an hour away. EM: "No, the screen's gone off. These are the seats for me and Ek. Now move." At this I got out of my seat to look at the screen, which still said it was reserved, and quickly sat back down. Me: "Nope, it still says it's my seat. The seat next to me seems free for a while if one of you wants to sit down." EK: "Why can't you just move? We're probably traveling further than you anyway." Me: "Sorry, but I'm really not going to move." EM raising her voice to attract the attention of others: "I can't believe you won't have the dignity to let me sit next to my child. She can't just go and sit on her own." Me: to Ek: "How old are you?" EK: 23, so probably older than you. You really should do what I say." I'm 21 and look it. Me: "Seriously? I won't move from my reserved seat. Your child is 23 and doesn't need to sit with you." I was feeling petty and so rose my voice to mimic M when saying this. EM: "That's it, we're getting the staff. I will not be spoken to like this by a child." With that they both left the carriage, and I didn't hear anything from any member of staff or anyone else, though a lovely little old lady who was sitting across from me said that she would probably have sworn like a sailor at M and Ek if they'd spoken to her like that when they'd gone out of earshot. The icing on the cake was when the train stopped around half an hour later. So 2 stops after M and Ek got on, I saw them both getting off and walking up the platform. It took everything not to give them a little wave as they skulked past. Were they kicked from the train? Probably right. Hopefully. What kind of M logic is that? My 23-year-old child can't sit on her own, but she can tell someone younger than her to go off and sit on their own. Logic is an oxymoron if I ever heard one. At 21, you're most definitely not a child. Hell, you're old enough to buy alcohol. Neither is 23 a child either. M was an cheesecake, pure and simple. The kid saying she was probably older than Op is funny because if she's older then she can sit on her own. I will always get up and let elderly and disabled people have my seat, but I will never give my seat to anyone else. Op did the right thing. My rules are elderly, disabled, pregnant and mothers carrying infants. Although I should note that, at age 66, my elderly guideline is somewhat plastic. You should do what I say. Or what? You gonna tell your mommy? EP angry that I won't be her family IT guy at work. I work IT for a small company. I support about 25 people total. Anything tech related owned by the company and I am involved in it. I like my job. Most of the folks working here are good people, even though some of them are very difficult to train on computers. EP is a middle-aged woman who, as far as I can tell, gets paid more than I do to do about 45 minutes of work a day that she stretches into a full 8-hour shift. She can't really even do that 45 minutes of work correctly most of the time, and I've had to come and retrain her on the software we use several times a month. EP also refuses to listen when I am helping her with tech issues and has something new to complain at me about every week. I'm told she only got the job because her dad and the owner of the company are old drinking buddies. Well, as annoying as EP is, I was able to mostly ignore her until this incident last week. I am in my office working on something when EP comes in with a laptop, some cables, and an iPad. She sets them down on my desk and just looks at me without saying a word. Me: what's all this? EP: my son's laptop and my iPad are having trouble. Can you fix them? Me: sorry EP, I don't work on personal devices. If it isn't owned by the company I won't work on it. You'll have to go to a shop or something. EP: oh come on. You fix this kinda stuff all the time. I bet it takes you 5 to 10 minutes tops to get them running. Then you can get back to whatever else you wanna fix. Me, pushing the items back toward EP. Sorry EP. Not happening. EP, turning several shades of purple and red at this point. What the hell is wrong with you? You sit around all day doing nothing, and when you finally come out of your office it's to fix things that you obviously screwed up because you're incompetent. Just fix the banana things so I can take them home and use them again. I don't know why owner even keeps you around, you are so useless. Me, yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave my office so I can get back to work. I go back to working on things and EP grabs her stuff and storms out, slamming my door behind her. I get a call about 20 minutes later from the owner asking why EP was demanding I be fired. She had told him that I had laughed in her face and refused to help her. She even said I threatened to never help her with IT problems at work again because I was mad. She called me out on being lazy. I explained what actually happened and offered to send owner a copy of the camera footage of the entire incident since there is a camera overlooking my entire office. Owner requested the footage, so I sent it to him. Get in the next day and I realize EP isn't there. I ask around and apparently owner called EP into his office and spoke with her about the incident. She tried to double down on her lies when owner showed her the footage, including audio, and caught her in the lie. He then offered to let her take some time off to cool her head before coming back to work, but that he'd expect her to make an apology to me for her behavior. This enraged EP, who everyone could hear even through closed doors, and after screaming about how awful a person I was, she stormed out of owner's office, grabbed her things, and shouted I Zucchini quit before leaving. So she's gone for good. Zucchini was so unwilling to own up to her own poor behavior and apologize to me that she threw away a cushy job making way more money that she is likely to make anywhere else around here. So butternut idiot. On the plus side, without EP here constantly complaining, I am getting a bit more work done each day. This is why you sort by new. Agree? It's so much fun to find virgin posts. Well, a rare happy ending. As the unofficial IT guy at my store, I know the feeling of co-workers pushing this on you. Only I tell them to see me after work and charge them a $2 late notice charge on top of the bill. Only $2. You are quite generous. Nothing like a tantrum from an entitled parent to start off the morning. This is the sort of time when we need a montage of her going from one failed interview to another, rejection letter to rejection letter, before she comes crawling back to beg for her job. I'll hire you back, on the one single condition that you apologize to OP.